Welcome back to We Like That podcast.
Because we like that. I'm Joe.
I'm my lifestyle, Calvin.
And welcome back to We Like That podcast.
Because we like that. My lifestyle. Dip, 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 living.
Sorry for your eardrums. Ready for We Like That?
My life.
Or I'm sorry for That Happened.
Skitty pop happen with Joe.
So there's been a lot of talk on my one, TikTok is probably going away. The TikTok ban was upheld by the Supreme Court just this Friday. More than likely it's on its way out because they don't want ByteDance to steal our data, apparently, is their concern. All of our American companies can steal the data, but not ByteDance. So in retaliation,
And lose them to hackers in the
All the
dark
time.
web all the time.
all the
But
time.
That's okay.
In retaliation, a lot of users have switched to a Chinese-held app called Red Notes, which apparently they didn't see coming. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Are they going to exile everything? Like, how exactly does this work? What are the ramifications of this? It's quite interesting time right now. There's a lot of words being thrown out there, like fascism and killing free speech, and it will be. Trump says he's going to save it. Allegedly, we'll see. We'll see what happens with this. But in the meanwhile, of all of that,
I'd just like to say if he does, that means they paid him and now he's on their payroll.
actually, so people are comparing it to early Hitler. They're talking about how Hitler also had a rhetoric about how, like, certain things were really, really bad and worked towards to eradicate those things, and then turned around and was like, actually, they're not that bad. We should try to save them. And it's how he garnered support. The comparisons are very creepy. So anyway, outside of all that creepiness, the other thing that's happening on my socials is people romantically reminiscing about the club days of yore back in the early 2000s for some reason. There's a lot of young kids who were babies during these early 2000s who are like, if only we could party like it was 2003. So in the vein of that, there was a new face-off. We haven't done this in a little bit. Face-off of music between the decades. So this is face-off 2003 versus 2005, a whole 2-year difference. But if you were alive back then, the music changed drastically in that short time. So you want to listen to them? You want me to do the comparisons?
Sure.
Sure.
Got Five Stone Essence.
Something happened. Everything's frozen. Let's try that again.
Stone Essence with 03 versus Soul Faces with 05. Let's go.
McDonald's, Coca-Cola Tyrese. Ty. Ty.
Tell me again, my
Mary Wings. Boo. Only because it's Ray J. Jagged Edge. Chill.
Damn, baby, all I need is a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Get it cracking in the club. I ain't never had nobody show me all the things that you done show me in a special way. I feel when you hold me, we gon' always be.
We got
All right. So I forgot some of these songs came out back then. I really did. So first up, Tyrese, How You Gonna Act Like That from 2003 versus Mario, Let Me Love You, 2005. Mario.
It's a tie.
Mario.
It's a tie.
Mario.
That Tyrese song,
Mario.
How You Gonna Act Like That, was everywhere. It was just as big.
I feel like Mario was bigger.
No.
I feel like Mario. They still play Mario on the radio right now. They still play that song on the radio right
Still
now.
play How You Gonna Act Like That on the radio.
They do not.
Okay, whatever, John. It's a tie.
For you. So tie for you, Mario for me.
It's a tie.
Who do you think is the stronger singer, Mario? If they did a versus Mario versus Tyrese, do you think Tyrese still has it to just sing off rip?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Tyrese will win. It's not going to be as big of a blowout as everybody thinks, but Tyrese will win. I think
You think
Tyrese
so?
has.
You think he still has his voice?
I think he's stronger.
It's been a minute.
He's been crying for a long time, so he still has his voice. Tears is like oil to the vocal cords, if you don't know.
Tears is oil. It's
That's
the lubricant that keeps it moving.
Exactly. That's why all the old 60s and 70s singers can still sing now, because they were crying all decades.
Because they were crying for decades. Okay, so next one is Twista, Kanye West, Jamie Foxx, Slow Jams from 2003 versus Lil Jon and the East Side Boys / Usher / Ludacris, Lovers and Friends.
Tie. Now, where I'm from, it's Lovers and Friends.
But that Twister song was everywhere.
It's a tie.
That Twister song was everywhere.
That Lil Jon song was
That
everywhere.
whole album, that Jamie Foxx album that came out in that time frame, you can play it start to finish. It was a great album.
That's not Jamie Foxx.
That was Jamie Foxx.
That's not his album. That's a Twister song.
No, the remix is a Twister song, but the first song is his. That's on his album.
Oh. I stand corrected.
Both of these are remixes.
I stand corrected. Well, the Lovers and Friends is literally a remake of an 80s song.
Okay.
That is it's the exact same song. Beat and
so I
everything.
think off of that alone means that Jamie Foxx should take this win, in my opinion.
It's a tie. A-Town, stay down all day, every day.
Oh gosh, if that's true, then you would have just chose them. That made it a tie.
No, because the other song was really good too.
Okay.
So, tie.
Okay, so tie for you, Jamie Foxx for me. All right, next one we have Ashanti, Rain on Me. That's from 2003. And that's versus Mary J. Blige, Be
Blige.
Without You. I agree. Mary J. Blige. She's the strong. They would never do an Ashanti versus Mary J. Blige versus. They would never. She would get smoked out.
No.
Yes.
Mary has more hits. That's why.
Mary has the stronger voice. That's why. Mary has the stronger voice.
Stronger, yeah. I don't. Yeah.
I'm not saying Ashanti can't sing. She can sing. But you would have to pair her against another singer of like that caliber, like Maya.
I think what it is for Mary J. Blige, her voice is so soulful.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she gets the bump.
For me, I think it's the emotion. Ashanti songs aren't like that deep.
That's what I'm saying.
Emotion.
Her voice is so
you can have a soulful voice, doesn't necessarily go into emotion though. But Mary is known for that.
To me, it's one and the same.
I
disagree. For me, it's one and the same. You can't have emotion. Well, you can have emotion.
Like Jill Scott also has a soulful voice, but she doesn't always just sing about like terrible tragedies.
That's different. So she just has very bad, hurtful songs. So she's
Mary J. Blige.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, but she also has is it I'm Fine?
I'm just saying. I think her what touches everybody, like you said, the emotion, but it's so soulful. It's soulful emotion. You can feel what she's saying in your soul.
Yeah.
Passion, emotions. You feel it in your soul.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Her voice is so soulful. That's what give her a bump over Ashanti.
Mm-hmm.
Ashanti can sing, and she can be singing about something emotional. You'd be like, she still looks happy.
It's not that deep. She's okay.
So what? Her boyfriend cheated on her 16 times and left her with a baby.
She look how happy she is.
She still sounds happy.
Right. You know, her and Nelly got back together and they're having a baby.
Yeah,
they're having
with
a
two
baby.
kids. They got to have a second.
I didn't know there was a second one on the way.
Yeah.
They wasted no time.
I think it's a second.
I didn't realize how young she was when they got together. I for real remember thinking they were so close in age. They are not.
No. Nelly like in his
50s.
50s.
Yeah.
And Ashanti might be hitting her 40s.
They met when she was 19. I was like, wow.
And that's why he said no.
He did say that.
He did.
No, he didn't. Anyway, so
that's why they didn't stay together.
They didn't stay together because she broke up with him because he was cheating on her.
Tomato.
Okay, next one. Jagged Edge, Walk Out of Heaven from 2003. Jagged Edge owned 2003. I'm sorry. I'm going to say that. Versus Ray J, One Wish, 2005.
The only reason I'm picking Jagged Edge is because it's against One Wish Ray J. And I hate Ray J.
Did you know Jagged Edge was on WWE? They sang for somebody from one of the refs' weddings. It was a wedding episode. It was hilarious.
Do whatever you gotta do for money.
But here's what I would say about Jagged Edge. If they did a versus with Ray J's behind, they'll sing. Jagged Edge can sing.
Why
can
would
sing.
Why would they belittle themselves and be on a stage with Ray J? You were better off saying something like Drew Hill or somebody. You better off saying Drew Hill or 112, something like that.
You mean Cisco and the guys? Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry, not Drew Hill. Cisco and the guys. Cisco and the guys. Cisco knows other 3 or 4 dudes
Cisco and them.
That change out. Because the only consistent in Drew Hill is Cisco. Everybody else got changed out at some point.
I don't think Jagged Edge gets enough flowers for what they provided. They really held 2003 down. They really did.
Because they had a season. That's why.
Very interesting.
Sprinkled with some hits from other years, but they had a season.
So we agree. Jagged Edge over Ray J.
It's not even a question.
Okay, and then we
just like 112 had like a season or like a.
Listen, I can't stand 112, but they can sing. They can sing their butts off. I will give them that. I can't stand the lyrics to their songs now that I'm an adult and understand what's happening.
I don't know how the hell you can understand the lyrics to their songs.
I was not
Peaches and cream
paying attention at all.
Of course you're not.
Cupid doesn't lie.
That's right. Because you was too busy.
When I tell you my heart broke when I finally read the lyrics to Cupid to Cupid and did not know that this was the song was about. Heartbroken. I found out last year what Never Let Go was about. Last year.
Whatever. You're too busy shaking your little hot hind parts out there and rubbing it on them.
The song is so upbeat. The song is upbeat and it's about tragedy.
Whatever.
There's another song by this woman. It's the same situation. It's an upbeat disco song, but it's about how this man beat and assaulted her and she had to run away to save her life.
Whatever. I'm sitting there being fast. That's why you don't know none of the damn lyrics to this damn song.
Not being fast. All right, next up is 50 Cent and Snoop Dogg. They Don't Know About Me. In quotations and PIMP.
Okay, I'm like this. I'm PIMP.
That's the full title. They Don't Know About Me in quotations.
Whatever.
PIMP versus another 50 Cent song. Just a little bit. This is 50 versus 50.
The first one, PIMP.
I agree. This is another person though who held down 2003 really hard. Would you say 50 Cent had a season?
I don't think he had a season. I think he's been trucking along through the years.
Okay.
2003 might have been his
highlight. That was when he was introduced to all of us. Was 2003. That was his debut.
2003 is probably his highlight, but he's been trucking through the years. So,
granted, I am not a rap head. Disclaimer: I am not.
It's been more than a season.
I'm not a rap head. So the particulars, the logisticals of all of that, definitely over my head. But I don't understand why he's held in such high regard when it comes to the art. I don't get that. I feel like he's the father of mumble rap. I don't understand. I don't get it.
No, I can understand what 50 is saying.
But what I'm saying is, I don't recall his songs being groundbreaking in any way.
In the club?
Groundbreaking? Changing genres?
Javon, it's rare that any song changes genre, bro, does whatever.
But people hold him in like that regard. They'll be like Ice Cube, 50.
Because
Rick Ross, another person who I don't understand how he broke a mold in any way.
Gangster rap, I guess, for that genre of rap, gangster rap or whatever. Or East Coast rap, yeah. For East Coast rap, it's like 50 from like the 2000s, 50, and then everybody else.
Why wouldn't it be Jay-Z? He's also from the 2000s. And Nas. Why wouldn't it be them?
They're all.
And how is 50 in the same caliber as them? I don't understand.
No one says lyrically he's in the same caliber.
But they hold him in the same regard.
But
he's up there.
But as a person, as a rapper or MC in the hip hop, he's on.
In the simplest layman, talk to me like I'm a kindergarten way. What did 50 Cent do that made him so important in rap?
What did Jay-Z do?
I heard that it was Jay-Z's lyrical prowess when it came to rap.
Same thing. The way 50 talks about guns and drugs and all that stuff. That's what. And having money and spending money. Same thing.
Okay, is
Same
what it
thing
was.
Jay-Z talks about. He does. Jay-Z does it in a more, I don't know, in a more slick way, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
50 is more direct.
Okay.
And he started off calling out all the rappers.
Okay.
He's a rapper that pretty much made it popular to be able to make money off beef, I guess. I don't know.
They weren't doing that before. Or I guess not in that way then.
Not
before.
making money like 50.
Okay. Very interesting time. Okay, so anyway, so between the two 50s, you're saying the one PIMP with Snoop Dogg.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Next we have Fabulous / Tamia So Into You from 2003 versus Bow Wow and Sierra Like You. It's going to be Tamia and Fabulous for me
God.
versus Like You. I remember when it was Ashanti and Fabulous before Tamia was like, this is my song. Why am I not singing the vocals for this? And she had to have her label fight his label in order to get it changed. I remember that.
What?
When that song first came out, So Into You by Fabulous, Ashanti sang the hook first. He had Ashanti sing that hook because the company didn't want to pay Tamia. They didn't know Tamia owned the rights to her song or for whatever reason. Tamia's label then had to basically legally go after Fabulous to get it changed and have her sing that hook. So then it changed.
Sure. I just say a tie.
How? How is this possibly a tie?
Because for me, only reason I bumped that song is because of Fabulous. If I ever bumped that
it's
song.
his song.
If I ever bumped that song.
It's his song. It's on his record. Tamia sang the original So Into You, like that hook. There's a whole song
I'm
around that
more
hook.
into the original by Tamia.
Mm-hmm.
The Fabulous one. I don't really listen to it.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
I listen to that Bow Wow and Sierra one more.
Do you really?
Not that much more, but probably more.
Interesting. So for me, it is Tamia and Fabulous. You said tie for you.
And two, that Sierra and Bow Wow song reminds me of it's a New Edition song
Okay.
sample that takes you back to New Edition.
Okay.
So
That's why you have an affinity for it.
yeah.
That's the last one. Unless you want to do one more face off.
No, I'm good.
All right, then that's it. That's all we got.
I don't want to have to defend myself again.
I had a good one. I had a good one, but whatever.
Why didn't you play the good one?
They're both good ones.
What was the good one?
It was like 95 versus 96.
Now I'm intrigued.
Okay. I'll look that up. Stuff starts to blur together. But what was cracking me up was people really romanticizing clubbing in the early 2000s like they were there. Clubbing in the 2000s was fun. It was. As somebody who was there, it was a lot of fun.
No,
But it was also grimy.
No,
It was also
my
there were
thing
also
is
gross times.
you can easily duplicate it. It's not like we did something that
You
can't.
can't actually.
Yes, you can.
No.
All you got to do
can't.
is go to the club, put the phone down, and have a good time.
Uh-huh.
That's all you have to do. That's all we did was have a good time.
He said put the phone down.
Yeah, just go have a good time. That's all it is.
I understand that for you it's that simple.
You can't catch the nostalgia of the actual time period, but you can at least
That's
do
what they want to do. When they're saying the early 2000s, that's what they want to capture, the nostalgia. They want it to be exact, which we can't do now. We can't.
you want the music, play the music. You act like you just can't play the music.
Okay, let me repaint this picture for you. When they're talking about the 2000s and what they are romanticizing as being a time for like really clubbing and all that, they want the lower tech where we literally had flip phones and we were playing Snake on the phone. They want that kind of tech to be out there. They want us to have the same kind of fashion styling from the 2000s that we're bumping. and whatnot.
You can get a cheap phone.
but it's also not the same. It's also not the same. The meetups, the kickbacks,
It's
the
not
let outs,
it's
it's not the same.
it's not supposed to be the same.
I agree. It's not supposed to
You
same.
can do the same thing we did. All it was is us having fun.
Yep.
That's all it is. You can't do your form of fun.
Their form of fun is not as interactive. It's not as person to person.
So then get interactive. I don't know what to tell you.
They don't know how to.
Stop.
You can say that because you come from a different time.
Get out of here.
But they there's
So you mean to tell me they don't go to the fast food restaurant and order food?
no, DoorDash. No.
You're so right.
DoorDash.
You're so right. You're so right.
We talked about like the men's loneliness epidemic. There's another conversation out there right now about isolation. There's a whole conversation now about how we're all turning towards isolation because people don't want to interact with each other. We're basically becoming Japan because that's how like a lot of Japan's community is. They don't interact like in that way with each other. We do a lot of stuff on our own. So you take that standpoint or that perspective, and then you add to it young people who are also in here, the way they know how to communicate with each other, everything is online. It's through their apps, it's through texting, it's all online.
Let me help you idiots. Take your ass to an old
Why are they idiots?
bar with a bunch of old people in their 40s and
Get preyed on? Absolutely not.
no, go there, see how they interact and talk to each other.
I don't know.
Learn.
If you've hung out with people our age in this time right now, it's not fun. So
No, I have fun all the time.
you do with people our age, not younger.
Yeah.
You don't hang out with anybody your age. You don't hang out with nobody your age.
Then who the fuck
They're
am I?
either older than you or they are younger than you. Who's your age? Who was born the same year as you that you hang out with?
No one really hangs out with the person that's born in the same year as them. That's rare.
Younger kids do.
Whatever, stop.
These idiots that you said.
Yeah, they're idiots. Moving
so
on
crazy.
to whatever rate.
All right, listen to this latest. This is Face Off 95 versus
Outta
96.
here.
This is media. Let's go.
They didn't know what sex was. Oh, it's Cisco and the guys. I have no idea who the hell that was.
Living the fast life, no fast cars. Everywhere we go, people know who we are. A team from out of Queens with the
Oh, mercy, mercy me. Ain't nothing out there for Ain't nothing out there for you. Situations get heavy, heavy, heavy.
I'm surprised you
Trying
know
to
it.
be a gangster. Dream on, dream on, dream on, dream on.
All right, so first up, we had Jodeci Freaking You from 95 versus Drew Hill or Cisco and them.
It's
Tell
the
me.
guys with no shirts
Versus guys with shirts.
against Cisco and them.
Yes.
It's a tie.
Tie, right? Right. Everybody remembers the choreography for Tell Me, first of all.
That's when Cisco they was trying to stay with the energy of Cisco.
Mm-hmm.
Anything is possible. Anytime you want it, let me know.
Okay.
I'll
Then
take my time when I'm loving you.
I feel like I know the answer to this next one. TLC Red Light Special from 95 versus En Vogue Don't Let Go, in parentheses love. For me, it's going to be En Vogue, but I think I know the answer for you. It's
Whatever.
going to be TLC for you.
You can be nice.
I think it's going to be TLC.
It's TLC because everybody that I know had TLC album, not In Vogue. I'm not saying In Vogue.
Everybody I know had En Vogue, but I was on the
Isn't it-
West Coast,
isn't
and
it-
you were in the South.
isn't amazing. And Vogue is looks wise and vocally. Oh my god.
And this
That's
Don't
it.
Let Go is not even off of their debut album. That's not even from the 94 album. This is
But
their second one before they split.
it's TLC all day.
And for me, it is In Vogue. All right. Then we have 3T, Anything, versus a group I've never heard of or a song I've also never heard
I
of,
would do
Men of Vision,
anything for you.
Housekeeper.
I would do anything.
I loved
for you.
3T. I
I
loved
would
them.
do anything.
They had 2 solid hits.
Anything for
They were the
you.
nephews of Michael Jackson. I don't think they were all Jermaine's sons.
Well, only part I like of the song is
Listen, you can make fun if you want to, but the harmonies were fantastic. The harmonies were fantastic.
It's gonna be 3T because I don't know who the hell Men of Vision are.
I don't know who Men of Vision
Vision
are
of Men, I don't
either.
know, but
I've
it's gonna
never
be
heard of Housekeeper.
it's gonna be 3T
3T for you
or
too.
T
Okay.
of 3, whatever they call.
Okay. Then we had Faith Evans, Soon as I Get Home from 1995. And that was versus Aaliyah, One in a Million from 96. Aaliyah for me.
Tie.
That's a heck of a tie.
Soon as I get home.
No
was
shade to Faith Evans,
huge.
who I heard can fight. She can fight. She's a phenomenal singer, but I feel like she never took off.
And that's what happened. She never took off.
Yeah.
Because her and Mary J. Blige was so similar.
I disagree. I feel like Mary J. Blige had a lot more emotion to her.
They were so similar.
I don't know. Name a Faith Evans songs where she's like giving that much emotion.
They had, it's not that. They were too similar, meaning their style was damn near. Puffy pretty much dressed her.
I would have
like
put Faith
Mary
Hill
J.
in the same boat as Kelly Price. That's who I would have put her in the same boat as
Faith
in terms
who?
of style. Faith Evans?
You say Faith Hill.
I did say Faith Hill. I'm trying to cover that.
Oh.
Don't listen to that. That was my country's roots. But Faith Evans, I would put her in the same boat as Kelly Price. Like powerful singers, but like there's just a more edge to Mary.
What I'm saying to you is I think it was because she looked too much. Her style was similar to Mary.
Oh, you're saying physically, like
Yeah.
the visuals. Okay.
Yeah, the visuals too close to Mary.
Okay.
And she just was in that, and the fact that she was bad boy too, and Mary was bad boy.
Yeah.
She was just in that Mary shadow.
I wonder why though. You know what I mean?
Because she was a bad boy, and Puffy dumbass tried to make her look like she. If you go look at her style, go look at Mary J. Blige.
Uh-huh.
It's damn near the same. It's night and day.
Or you're saying he tried to duplicate too much?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty much I think what happened to Faith.
Okay.
Instead of letting her be her own thing, I think
He was
try
like,
to-
I'm just gonna make you the same as Mary.
yeah, I think that's what happened to her.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
my opinion.
She also can act. She was in is it called The Fighting Temptations, the church movie? With Cuba Gooding Jr., Beyonce's in it. He's trying to like get a choir together to get money.
Oh, she played his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fighting Temptation.
Yeah. She was decent. She was good in it. So I wonder what happened with that.
I forgot she was in that movie.
Yeah, she was decent. She was really good. So then we had Cool G Rap and Nas, Fast Life from 95 versus Nas and R. Kelly, Street Dreams in 96.
Okay, Street Dreamers is going to win because
Because you're terrible and you have no soul.
no, yeah, the beat.
I
Both of the beats
do
are
not support R. Kelly,
both of the beats are hard.
but I also agree with you.
Both of the beats are hard.
But I also
that-
agree with
That
you.
Street Dreamers song come on. Street
Damn it, R.
Dreamers.
Kelly.
Oh mercy, mercy
Damn it, R. Kelly.
me. Ain't nothing out there for
You, the person,
ya.
terrible. Your musical
I think
talent, flawless.
Situations get heavy, heavy, heavy. Trying to be a gangster. I'm sorry.
It came out recently that the residuals from his music being played actually go to his victims. That was part of the I don't call it the agreement, but like, with the lawsuit, I thought all the lawsuits and everything
Yeah.
that came down, the victims actually get a portion of those residuals. Do you know how many people were like bumping R. Kelly all day? Like they were waiting They
Whatever.
were waiting to do
All
this.
I know is you can't be mad at the talent.
It's
That
hard not to
dude,
be though because it's attached to the
he
person.
now he was the 90s
Into the
and 2000s
2000s. Yes.
for male R&B. It was
Ugh.
him and everybody else.
But it also wasn't just R&B. His hands were in so much of the music.
Everything.
Damn it, R. Kelly. Anyway, so that's it. That was the other good one I had.
Mercy me.
So that's it. You want to move on to that's it for Dat Happened with Joe. I'm too depressed to look at any of the actual news stuff because I have to get ready for this ridiculous transition that's about to happen. So, what other stuff you got going on?
Whatever. Moving on to Love After Lockup.
Woo woo. During lockup?
Love During Lockup.
Okay.
That's what I said.
You said after.
Love during lockup. Ain't nothing out there for you. I guess we start with Tia and Rob.
Okay.
Rob's out. Tia pretty much sucked his face off his face.
Sucked his face off his face.
Yes. On the curb and in the van. Everybody's there. His family's there. They're happy.
And she's pissed about that.
They get in the van. They go to the hotel. She pawns her daughter off on her cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And they try to get it in real fast. But it doesn't work because everybody comes straight to the room.
Yeah.
So now she got to put her titties back in her shirt.
She's upset.
He got to put all his stuff back in his pants or whatever.
Yep. She's mad. She's like, I don't understand why they're doing this. It was supposed to be the first 2 days of him out was supposed to be just us. I don't understand why he's not prioritizing me.
So,
like this man hasn't been in jail for years.
So I guess right when he put the tip in, he got the tip in a couple of times and they had to stop.
He keeps saying that, but I don't think they got that far.
That she keeps saying tip. So I don't know what the hell
she didn't say anything about a tip at all. You brought that in. She didn't say nothing about a tip.
So now everybody's in the room. Everybody looking at like, ew, why half of your boobie out?
No, they're like, y'all nasty. We know what you guys are trying to do. And to her credit, she's like, yeah, we were.
I'm like,
and y'all got here.
I'm like, if you know, then why are you here?
Right.
So,
but also, it's his first day out. Of course, his family wants to spend as much time with him as possible.
It's the women inside, and the men are on the balcony taking gangster pictures, and that's pretty much it.
The most stiff ass pictures. Who was the next couple? We barely get Kylie and Hunter, and I want to call her Sarah.
Kate, Kylie, and Hunter. They had like a brief thing with Kate at the pool. She's talking to Hunter, and he's like, "Yeah, I got rid of all the women." Blah,
Except
blah, blah.
apparently one of them is mad and is trying to take a hit out on him.
Yeah, supposedly they put a hit out on him.
It sounded so fake.
It sounded very fake. Then you had Kaylee telling him she bought a ring or something.
No, she been told him she bought the ring, but she visits a lawyer to see like what they can do in order to gain visitation rights back, and what steps what steps they can take to help mitigate his parole because he's up for it.
A lot of this is cloudy because a lot of things are happening during Love and Lockup. So we go.
But you also have Kate meeting up with a lawyer too.
To talk about
same thing, parole, but also she brings up the whole how he might be facing somebody trying to take a hit on him, and the lawyer is like, if the prison system or the legal system, whatever, can show that he is manipulating these women in order to get money, that's going to keep him in jail. So there's that too. And she's looking at the lawyer like, oh, I didn't think about that.
So let's go to MJ and Willie. Pretty much MJ is fighting between being with her ex-husband and Willie. That's the conundrum.
I disagree about fighting. I don't think she's fighting anything. I feel like it's an inevitability. And everybody around her is like, so when are you getting back with Ami? And she's like, I am not going to do that again. Like it's
Then she runs in the house and prayer cries on the floor. Then closes the door because she needs time. I don't know, whatever. But pretty much that's her whole episode of people being like, when are you going back? And she's like, I'm never going back. I love Willie. Oh, I think whatever, sure. Her confusion between Willie and her ex. Savannah and Bradley. Pretty much Bradley crying and Savannah being like, you're a punk.
Did they show Savannah?
No. He's pretty much Savannah is mad because Bradley didn't come see her when she wanted him to pick up and come see her. He's like, either I get money so you can have stuff in jail.
Are you talking
or
about Sam? Savannah's the one who's in Richmond, Virginia, and wants the
I'm
BBL.
sorry. Sam and Crystal. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sam and Crystal. We don't get any Savannah and Bradleys.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Sam and Crystal. Pretty much Crystal was telling Sam, you need to.
Oh, she hasn't been talking to Sam. Yeah.
I want to see you. But Sam didn't come because he had to work. So now she's upset and she's not talking to him. And neither him or her grandmother heard from her in a while.
I don't think the grandma's really keeping tabs on Crystal, though.
I don't think the grandma cares in any way about neither of these people.
She's just like, you put food in the fridge? Great.
The issue of what's going on with them. And it's pretty much, that's their whole thing right now.
I feel for Sam.
Sam wanted affection from Crystal, and Crystal be like, you didn't come to me when I gave you my beck and call.
What do you
can go to hell.
Do you think about his whole conversation about his fear that she might be cheating again because she's not getting all her needs met? He gave this long dissertation about how like she needs a lot of attention, and if she doesn't get that attention, she starts to step out.
I don't care what you do in jail because you're not going anywhere.
I think that was basically his point too. Was like, yeah, she has these relationships with other women, but it's just because I'm not doing what I need to do. Is what he made it sound like. But I'm like, she's having full relationships.
I don't care
with other people.
I don't care what carpet she licks while she's in jail.
Oh goodness,
it has nothing to do with me.
Oh goodness.
At the end of the day, now if she's pounding some guard, that's a different story.
But my thing is, you're already struggling with intimacy in your relationship as it is, and she's freely giving it to somebody else. That's concern. That's concern.
It's not concern. You just go do what you want to do, and
but he can't. Remember, he can't.
How's she gonna know?
He will tell her.
Then that's stupidity
on his
part, right?
I feel for Sam. I do.
I don't.
I do. I feel for him.
I don't. Just do what you want to do.
I feel like he's in a situation where he's like, I can only get what I can get, so I'm trying not to mess that up.
You're not getting anything.
I agree. I don't think he's actually getting anything. But I feel like he finds himself in a situation where he feels like it's this or it's nothing.
I think he wants a grandma. The grandma doesn't want him, so he's in a conundrum.
That's a grandma. All right.
So, I think he's into grannies.
Interesting.
But that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Shakima, Donnie.
We get more information on the Donnie situation.
Donnie's been moved, like I said, to another prison, 3 hours away. She still doesn't know why her name is
all up in this.
All up in the thing.
The new allegations.
And Donnie's telling her she doesn't know why, but I'm pretty sure he said.
No, he knows.
Some way he said he knows why.
The producers on the recorded phone line are like, are you moving drugs? Did you have anything to do with the drug transportation? And he's like, this is a recorded line, so I can't talk that much. But no. And also, I don't want to tell Jakima the full story yet. And it's like, what do you mean? Which to me, I feel like he's playing in semantics. I feel like technically it wasn't his idea to do whatever that is that they did. And technically it wasn't necessarily him actually moving the product as much as he was somebody who was able to help move it for somebody else. You know what I mean?
Pretty much he was a connect.
Yeah.
He hooked the people up to talk to whoever they needed to talk to.
Right, and they made the moves through whatever.
To do whatever.
I don't think he technically was actually moving that product for himself.
And what happened was he got paid on the side to do the setup, whatever the setup was.
That's what I think as
well.
And
that's what happened.
That's what I think.
I don't think he's in there
actually
doing it.
Masterminding
I think
this,
he
right?
set the person up who's doing it.
Yeah.
With the other person.
Yeah.
To set up.
And use Jakima's Cash App, use his uncle to help with whatever it was there. That's what I think.
The money got sent to his uncle. He told his uncle to put it in the cash app.
Yeah, that's what I think happened.
I think what
I don't have any proof,
happened.
but that's what I think happened.
So that's Shakima and Donnie.
Well, she's pissed, and now she's finding out that not only did he move, it might be even longer before she can see him because everything's been stretched out because of the new stuff that's been coming on. She's questioning whether or not it was a right to move her kids like it was, and she doesn't know what's going to happen with their relationship.
If you felt that way, you should have never done it in the first place. So. That's your stupidity. I'm not going to sit here and feel any type of feelings for stupidity.
Okay.
Stupidity has got enough feelings. And that's why we're in the predicament we are in today.
I'm just saying, a little compassion goes a long way. a little bit of empathy.
We've been being compassionate to stupidity for too long.
I feel like we haven't. You know what I mean?
We
I
need
feel
to.
like we haven't.
No, sometimes you just gotta let stupidity die
I don't know.
for the greater good
Because
of mankind.
stupidity will never die. It will never die.
You can't keep being sorry for it because it pulls you down at some point.
I agree that you can't keep being sorry
It pulls
for
you down
it,
at some point.
but I feel like you can still empathize with it.
Nope,
Like, this
because at
wasn't the
some
right
point,
move, but
because at some point
I understand that your reasonings at the beginning of all of that
No.
was what led you here. I'm just hoping you learned
no.
something now
'Cause
that you are
'cause
here.
At some point, you're giving more energy to it than the person in the situation of stupidity.
I'm just saying something that's brand new for them. I mean, it'll be old. It might be old hat to you, but it's brand new to them.
Not brand new. It's something they repeatedly do.
I don't know that they necessarily recognize that.
I don't know. I be getting in depth to that 90 day. I mean, love during lockup. Getting too in depth in these people's lives.
I'm just saying. I like Jakima.
I don't. I'm not saying I don't. I actually, out of all the people, she's the most likable ones on here. Actually, Tia is like, ain't too many bad people on here that you don't like.
Tia is cool if you're not dating her. That's how I feel. Like, if you were her friend, it'd be chill. But if you were in a relationship with her,
I don't like
Yikes.
MA too much. Crystal and can kick rocks too. And Sam. Sam sucks.
Sam's the kind of white boy I could have snapped up. That's why I feel for Sam.
And that's why you was wearing Kurt Cobain shirts all your life.
Correct.
As a kid.
Correct. And the fact that he's out of Seattle, which is where
Well,
grunge came from. Yes.
And crying at what you call it, bonfires.
Of course. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Saved you.
Saved you.
Jesus Christ. Saved
You're
your life.
welcome.
You're welcome. So we're gonna move on to 90 day. 40 90 days.
Surely.
The tell all.
Ooh, what a good tell all.
Part 1.
Yo. How many parts, first of all, do you think is gonna do you think they're gonna go full 5? You think we're getting 5?
Yeah, I think they haven't touched and they still got people coming back because Vanya got to come back and do Yasko. They still ain't done Adnan. They still ain't touch what's his face, Magda.
Oh, and Joey. Yeah.
Joey. They touch Niles and Matilda a little bit.
They haven't touched Wheelchair yet. Wheelchair guy and his girl yet.
Who?
Exactly. The guy in the wheelchair.
Oh yeah, him. That's what I want to. That's what I want to see.
Well, let's start at the beginning. So we kick off the tell-all with everybody meeting up like we normally see, like them all meeting up in like a green room. But there's already like anonymity between some of them, especially Adnan for some reason. A lot of them have it out for Adnan.
I take it back. Adnan didn't really get that way until it started. The first thing I think they were more intrigued with was Lauren.
Okay. Oh yes, being grossed up by
and
Lauren.
a little bit of Adnan, but it was more
Adnan,
but more Lauren. Adnan didn't start until he started pissing everybody off.
Okay.
That's when now they're focused on him because notice no one even talking about Lauren anymore.
That's so true.
So we start to tell off with Lauren and Faith. And I'm trying.
We find out they're kind of together. Lauren thinks they're engaged. Faith said no. And people are asking her like, girl, everything that Lauren has been doing, why do you want to stick around with him? And it's Faith being like, it's kind of complicated. Like on the one hand, I want love. And then on the other hand, I do love this man. Like I've seen sides of him that are really, really good. But there's also signs of him that aren't. But also I have to keep in mind that like there's not particularly for a woman in my position, she's a trans woman, it's really hard to even get this far. So there's a lot of back and forth with her of like her reasonings of trying to stick it out with Lauren. And it seems to fall back on, this is the one I know. He's my first relationship. He's the one I've gone the farthest with. I still have hope for this relationship. But I did love that the girls, and especially Niles takes on like this big brother protective mode for her, where he's like, I don't think you're happy. I think Lauren's disgusting. I think you deserve better.
He's like he's wandering through life as Pinky,
Who is?
Lauren.
Okay.
The story of how he even got to Faith is
Not complimentary to Faith at all.
number one. Number two, it sounds like
She was an afterthought.
he's willfully ignorant.
His story was he was talking to another girl in the Philippines
Who he thought was trans.
Yes. And he was sending her money and they were in a relationship. But then he found out that she wasn't actually trans. He said she was faking it.
She was an actual girl and she took his money.
Supposedly. But he still had this ticket to go to the Philippines.
And somehow he met Faith. And within that time frame,
he was like, oh, well, then I'll just use it to go meet Faith instead.
To meet her and try to get engaged and married.
His best friend co-signing all this blew me. I was so confused.
Then on top of that, he slept with a girl that gave him gonorrhea.
Again.
And turned around and slept with the same girl that gave him gonorrhea again. And apparently he's supposed to be meeting up with her possibly.
Yeah, he married
Turkey.
her. He married that girl.
Oh.
That was the girl he married and then divorced in Vegas.
But now he's back with Faith.
No, so this tell-all was taped, I want to say about 6 months ago. The marriage was fairly recent.
Okay.
So sometime after the tell-all,
he
marries this other girl and annuls it also. So, but the standouts for me in the Lauren Faith segment, one was Lauren trying to paint this picture that he's been completely transparent with Faith. We saw in the show that he was not transparent with Faith. He plays a lot of semantic games where he's like, oh, well, I did say, I'm seeing other people. She should know that means this. And it's like, no.
Also,
that's not.
It's also Faith kind of co-signing.
Yeah. Yeah. Her saying he did say this, but I didn't know it meant that. Or he said this, but it only happened the once kind of stuff. But also her going back to him. Like this stuff happens and then she still goes back to him, which is crazy. And the rest of the 90 Dayers do gang up on Lauren. And it blows my mind that when his best friend is there, she's like trying to paint this picture that Lauren just doesn't know any better.
Is this willful idiot?
Yes, like he just doesn't know any better, you guys.
As he has a mental issue to where he don't know what he's doing.
Niles, I loved Niles. He was like, he's a grown ass man. I was like, yeah, he is. Niles, get him. Get him.
It's like I'm like, you don't have Down syndrome, sir. And even
Also-
people with Down syndrome.
Not Down syndrome.
Would-
He said
would-
autism. No,
What?
so what's his face? Lauren has gone on the record to say that he was diagnosed with autism, but he chooses to not believe it. So see with that.
So then it doesn't exist, Javon.
There
Then
you
it
go.
doesn't exist.
There you go. Blew my mind.
Also, him painting his pictures of he's paying for Faith and her family.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I gave her like $8,000 to $10,000, and Faith is like, no, no. And even in Lauren's recounting of it, he's like, I gave you 2,000, and then I gave you a couple hundred here and a couple hundred there. That still doesn't equal $8,000.
And Faith goes, it's all in the bank.
Right? I haven't touched it. It's in somewhere.
So,
But also, the reality is, Faith is in a third world country. It's not uncommon for people in relationships with people who are living in the Philippines to send care packages like this. That's not uncommon. And I didn't appreciate Wheelchair Guy being like, you're just doing this for America. You're just doing it to get to America.
Handyman. I call him Handyman.
What's his name? Did you pull up his name?
His name is Handyman.
Goodness gracious.
Brian.
Brian's the worst. Yeah, him trying to paint it like she's using Lauren. Lauren doesn't have any money. Faith is the one who works. Faith is the one who works. Anyway,
That's another thing. I'm like, he doesn't even have he don't have money.
I also like that Niles pointed out that Lauren seems to get a kick out of grossing everybody out. He does a lot of he'll make a lot of very inflammatory statements to like get a reaction out of people. And Niles called it out. It was really funny.
See ya. So that's pretty much Lauren and Faith in a nutshell.
Yeah. It was all over the place.
All over the place, trying to gross people out.
But him
And-
saying we're back together, Faith going no. Him saying we're engaged, Faith,
Faith
going
going
no.
and how he got to Faith by an accident.
By accident, as an afterthought.
As an afterthought. And Faith just sitting there looking like boo boo the fool the
Poor-
whole time.
Oh, poor Faith.
Let's move on to Adnan and Tiger Lily.
Hilarious.
So
I don't understand this gimmick. It's a gimmick. It can't be real that they're trying to float with Tiger Lily and Adnan. There's this whole thing of him being super controlling and her like not knowing any better and he's manipulating her. And I'm like, she's older than him. He really hasn't done anything. He really hasn't done anything. I don't know where this is coming from.
and two, she's just as controlling as him.
Pettily so. Yeah.
Yeah, in a petty way. Because if he tells her she can't do this, she'd be like, you can't do that. And he goes, okay.
For me, I felt like what should have sealed the deal was her saying, I didn't really know much about the Muslim religion. Like that's what should have sealed the deal of where they are. Now they did try to paint it that like Adnan is creating his own Adnan-isms and using it under the guise of being a Muslim. And they showcased this conversation that Tiger Lily had with his mom, who was like, yeah, I did not raise him to be like super, super controlling. In terms of, from what I've seen of Muslim men in that religion, to be fair to Adnan, he really isn't that controlling compared to other people in that religion. He's really not.
Even the Muslims would be like, you're not one of us.
I don't think that's what they would say. But I mean, because there's been a lot of points, especially what they showed in the show, where Adnan's like, you need to do this, you need to do that. And Tiger Lily pushes back on it. And he just goes, okay. Like there's been several of those instances.
That's pretty much how it goes down every time.
Right.
He'd be like, I want to get my hair done by this lady. Well, no, he can do your hair, but then I'll do it myself.
Which I feel like they also should have pointed, like you said, they should have pointed that out. Because he was like, I don't want other men touching her. And she doesn't want other women touching me. And yet you had Cruz right there, fully giving her touch-ups, fully doing her hair, her makeup, everything.
Exactly.
Hilarious.
And she's like, I'm not allowed to have a male doctor. He's like, so he can't have a female doctor? She goes, no. And he goes,
what I liked was Sean being like, so did you have a problem with him having a female doctor? And Tiger Lily's like, no. And she's like, so you instituted that rule because he was giving you that rule? She's like, yeah.
Yeah. And nobody going.
I feel like the person who was leading the charge was Vanya. For whatever reason, Vanya is triggered by Adnan. For whatever reason. And she's just like, I don't think he respects her. I think he's pushing all this stuff on her. And it's supported by Tiger Lily's friend Cruz, who kind of felt the same way, that Tiger Lily was supposedly acting out of character and just doing whatever Adnan wanted.
But every time he says something, she literally petties her way back onto him, and he just goes, okay.
But the other thing was like, they were like, Adnan's taking control of the conversation. He's not letting Tiger Lily speak. Tiger Lily spoke the whole time, but she also kept looking to him to lead the conversation.
Yeah.
She would like stop herself and look at him. And like the perspective.
They took it as her
being
looking
scared
at
of
him, being scared of him.
Yeah, like afraid to rock the boat. But it was literally her waiting on him. To me, it felt like her waiting on him to say something, to move it forward. So rightfully, Adnan gets frustrated with everybody coming at him saying like he's doing so much wrong in his own relationship.
And then we go to break.
We go to break and it gets worse because then you have all these people being like, well, you need to listen to us because this is what you're doing wrong. And it's like, what are you talking about?
And Adnan going, hey, handicap man, would you like for me to kick you out chair?
What is this character you've created?
Syria. I'm Syrian.
Why do you keep saying that? Isn't he in Jordan?
I'm actually Syrian. I just said Jordan. It's the only way to get in. Anywho, and Adnan and Brian get into it. And
Brian was giving unsolicited advice.
Brian
honestly.
is like, you need to grow up because this is your ego talking.
He said you have an attitude problem because of your ego. He's like, it's not your religion that we have an issue with. It's your attitude. And it's Adnan being like, I don't know who you are. What are you talking about? And he does tell Brian, like, what are you going to teach me, man in the wheelchair? Like, what are you
going to teach me, man with no legs? What are you going to teach me?
And again,
buddy,
I don't want to be an Adnan apologist, but I felt like he was going after Brian for his own life decisions. Like, you made poor choices. This is how you got in the wheelchair. Why would I listen to you?
Let's talk about it, buddy. You made bad decisions. You no legs work. No legs work.
Listen, Adnan was quick with the petty comeback. I was impressed.
And if you ask me,
I was impressed.
If you ask me, why is your hand locking up every time you point at me? Why is your hand locking up, buddy?
On the one hand, I could see how they're trying to give meaningful advice if they knew Tiger Lily that way. They don't. They're giving all of this unsolicited advice on somebody they don't know. So I didn't understand why they were so invested in
So
this.
pretty much Ananon goes after the break.
He leaves.
They leave. They come back later during Matilda and
Niles'
Niles
segment.
section.
And they come in strong. They come in with an entourage of cameras, lights behind them. We're here.
And
We're back.
Ananon starts letting it fly.
He said, "Listen, I'm not holding back no more." So, and I loved his comeback to Vanya. I loved his comeback to Vanya. She's got to protect herself. He's like, "Why didn't you protect yourself from those two guys?"
From the two guys that you were in Croatia, huh?
That was a great
How
comeback.
about
It was so good.
Don't give it to me.
It was so good.
You give it to me, I give it to you.
They did share a little bit of light on the whole, what is it called? Power of attorney situation that happened randomly at the end of the series. That Tiger Lily had a problem with. Tiger Lily explains a little further that this power of attorney that Adnan was trying to get with his brother wasn't just for his time in Jordan, his space in Jordan. It was actually supposedly for everything. Again, I don't know how that would work in a foreign country, but whatever, sure. So she was like, that's why I had a problem with it.
I think she assumed it was for everything.
I agree.
I think he told her it's just for to handle my businesses in my place.
A power of attorney from Jordan does not work in America. It wouldn't work in the States.
That's what I'm saying. So it's so he can do stuff on my behalf in Jordan.
Right.
He uses,
and he's not a U.S. citizen, so it's not like he could get a power of attorney from the U.S.
So he uses his best of knowledge of English to get that point across.
But I also feel like she didn't want to hear it. I think you're right. I don't think she wanted to hear it anyway. Either way.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I already knew. I'm like, I think he just want a power of attorney to handle stuff in Jordan. I don't think he's trying to take your money.
I agree.
And I'm like, also, what pissed me off at first is everybody jumping to Tiger Lady's defense and Vanja acting like Tiger Lady is this
helpless damsel being
who created this Fortune 500 company and built it up from the ground, and now this young.
She was like, if I was a successful, brilliant woman like you, I also wouldn't want to protect my assets. And it's like,
Muslim man is coming to see. I'm like,
the assets she gained was from marriage.
I'm like, she gained her access from just sitting there, right?
I don't know about just sitting there. She did have these babies. She did have babies.
She got lucky and married a person who
was wealthy,
who made it to the league, to the NFL.
Wait, she married a football player?
Yeah, I think he was a football player.
I thought he was just like a Fortune 500 person. I'm gonna look it up. Oh, I can't look it up on this.
I thought he was
maybe my phone.
I thought he was a football player.
No, he's like an old guy. She didn't marry a football player.
Anywho, whatever she did, she married smartly.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if that's necessarily smartly. She married financially. She did. She married financially well.
She married money.
Yeah.
So she married smartly. I don't trust me.
I disagree that it's smartly.
Trust me.
Because first of all, she was miserable, and then secondly, it ended.
I don't
know how smart that is.
It doesn't matter. She married for the money. When you marry for money, things happen. So I don't understand why she was upset.
You're telling me that guy's a football player?
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was a football player. I didn't know. I thought it was a football player. So she married some dude who
she married a rich guy.
A guy who was rich. Trust me. You see his picture. It's only one reason she married him. Got lucky. And of course, what happens when you get old, people with money tend to want to buy newer, younger things.
Oh, you think that's what went down?
It is what. Yes, that's of course that's what happened.
I'm just saying, a lot of people who marry financially like that, they're not necessarily looking for romance. And I was thinking she wanted romance. She was looking to be like treasured.
No,
because that's exactly what Adnan brings for their relationship.
Yeah, that's what why she's with him now.
Yeah.
And too, I think she want to throw in her husband's face she can go get younger guys.
Well,
too.
no, she knew. I'm sure that guy knew. You saw the picture. I'm sure that guy knew that she could. She also chose somebody who's not going to provide for her like that. I feel like that's specific.
Yeah, I think because she wanted something different now.
Yeah.
She's at that.
I feel like if she was going to throw it in her ex's face, she would have chose somebody who was like more powerful.
No, he went younger, so she went younger.
I don't think it was that. Adnan is younger, but I don't think it was that because she likes how Adnan moves.
I'm not saying I don't think she married him to get back at the ex. I'm just saying.
But also, her maturity is also young, so I don't think she
So
was interested in somebody older.
yeah. So anywho, at the end of the day,
They were ganging up on Adnan for wrong reasons, and he cleared them. So that that happened.
yeah, and they tried to make like, look how you dress. Did you want to dress like that? And she's like,
I just had a baby.
I don't feel comfortable. And when she said that, I'm like, and I told you, I'm like, there's a reason she's wearing it. It's not because of him.
You said she wears what she wants to wear. Like
Yeah,
she,
that's
and we
what I'm
saw
saying.
that because they kept having contentions about the fact that she would wear whatever she wanted to
Yeah.
wear.
So I'm like, the only reason I couldn't figure out why she was wearing that. Then when she said, because I just had a baby, so I'm like,
Yeah.
makes sense.
But also, she's married to a guy from the Middle East. Like you are gonna dress favorably to your partner too. Like that is something that happens.
She only got that on because she's not happy with her body right now.
Well, that's what she implied. I don't think she bought that just because Adnan was like, "You have to wear it." Like I don't think that happened either.
I think she bought that because it made her feel confident.
It made her feel confident. It's pretty. It's made her feel confident.
But
It is a pretty garment. But
Trust
also, I feel like it also was to make her husband happy. But I don't think there's anything wrong with making your husband happy. I don't think her only goal was to make him
I'm not
happy.
saying that there's anything wrong with that. What I'm saying to you is, I think the real reason she had it on is because she didn't feel confident with her
I think she
body.
did it to show a united front.
And
I think it was that.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah,
I agree with you on that.
I think it was that.
And then somebody asks her, it's because I don't feel comfortable with my body.
Right.
So she already had
But
it
I think
come
it was.
back.
I think it was all of those things. Also, I think
Yeah.
it really was all of those things.
Okay.
And then later when she has a conversation with Adnan, she's like, the only reason they're picking on us this hard is because they're not happy in their own relationships. And I was like, you're not wrong. Not wrong. Can you see?
No. And that's pretty much Adnan and Tiger Lily.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to save thing for later?
We only have one more show to talk about.
I mean, Vaja.
That we can keep that short. Vanya and Bojo.
Yeah. Vanya and
He
Bojo.
shows up. She's like, he wasted my time. I got there thinking this was going to be romantical. He greeted me at the airport, and then that night told me we were just friends.
They bring her.
Like, okay.
They bring her cousin on. I think it's her cousin.
Yeah, her best friend / cousin. Yes.
And she talks about it, and
She has the same stance. She's like, "Why did you waste my girl's time?"
and everybody's pretty much. I think what's his name?
Joey
Joey's
points
like,
out, "I think you had a girlfriend.
I think you had a
girlfriend the whole
girlfriend. I
time.
think you're trying to wage.
You were worried about how it looked."
And then, if you go to commercial, come back. They talk about a text that Vaja got from his ex.
Yes, and how like there was an overlap.
How
between
there's
the
an
two
overlap
girls.
between the two of them, and how
She broke up with him,
She broke out with him,
and in retaliation, she thinks he started talking to Vanya.
and then
All of a sudden, Bojo has
goes,
a
you
meeting.
know what? I have a meeting. Thank you. I love you guys. Stay blessed.
I'm already 2 hours late for
Keep
this
the foot.
meeting.
I'm 2 hours late for my meeting.
I have to go.
What meeting are you got at 10 o'clock at
Aren't
night?
you a basketball player? What 10 o'clock p.m. meeting you got?
Well, we have a team meeting right now. I have to go to for basketball. Thank you guys. Bless you. Good night.
He bolts out of there.
May God smile on America and you guys. Thank you. Good night.
What got
Bless
me
you.
was him
Bless you.
saying, like, all that stuff I was texting to Vanya, all the romantic stuff I was texting to Vanya were jokes. Hey, good morning, wifey. You know, just being silly. And I was like, morning, wifey is a joke? I didn't get that, but Calvin said he did. Calvin understood how it could be
I knew
a joke.
I told you that's what he was doing. I told you that. I told
My
you that.
point is, I was with Vanya. Who the hell jokes like that? I don't know nobody who jokes like that. And with somebody you're romantically interested in? I'm confused. Why would you do that? The example you gave me was like longtime friends saying that to each other, or even colleagues that have been working together forever saying stuff like that. But this was not that. So I was confused how that was a joke.
That's what I said that. I'm like, but their relationship is not that.
Uh-huh.
But being a European, they take things they do things different. That's all you need to know.
I like that you're blaming it on being European.
But they do things differently.
Or you could just say he's terrible. He's just bad at words. He's terrible.
There's going to be a disconnect.
I love that Magda pointed out that maybe the way he views it, because for him, he was like, he kept giving this allegory of like not wanting to sit on two chairs. Like he would never be the type of person who's going to string along two women. But Magda points out maybe you don't think you're stringing along two women because you've compartmentalized what these women are to you. Even though you're acting completely differently in your head, you've defined them in these spaces, and it's just hurt everybody. And then all of a sudden he had his meeting.
So that was
Magda, or not Magda, Vanya and
Vanya
Bojo.
and Bojo. Matilda and Niles is pretty much quick.
We barely got really into them
before Adnan and Tiger Lady pretty much interrupt
and came
their
back.
portion when they came back.
Most of it was just like Niles hasn't gotten Matilda into the U.S. yet. He still has another $4,000 to pay in order to get all the paperwork,
And they're
done.
trying to figure out who's going to pay that. Is she going to pay it or is he going to pay it? So they're trying to figure out where the money's going to come from.
Yeah.
And
Vanya's like, "What about your parents, Niles?"
he goes,
And Niles goes,
"Say
"Did
that
you not
question-
hear me say?"
Say that again.
No, you heard me say that they don't support our marriage. So ask me again. So it was hilarious.
But then he kind of cleans it up like, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's why they don't.
They think she's a scammer.
So.
And Brian's stupid self is like, "Well, are you only here to be in the golden streets of America, the land of milk and honey?" Shut up, Brian.
Public service announcement. Not everybody gives a damn about being in America. And then he goes, if you've been married for money, why won't you? And she's like, if I wanted money, I could just marry some
rich guy here in Ghana.
In Ghana. Where the money's going to go
And Brian
further.
has the nerve to be like, rich guys look for some different things in girls. Shut up, Brian. Please
I'm
stop.
like, she's in Ghana. She has
Please
everything
stop.
the rich guys in Ghana want.
Please stop.
I'm like, says the guy who's frolicking across all of South America trying to find a nanny.
Okay, dishing money out like it grows on trees, renting all these places. For what? For what, sir?
Oh, you using
They just want me for my money. The money you've been throwing at them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you trying to
All right.
use America to lure somebody here to be your nanny? Or your caretaker?
Right.
So what I can't wait. I can't wait for his.
Mhm.
I can't wait for part 2. I can't. I want to punch him in the throat. He'll be the first handicapped person I kick out of a wheelchair, dead in their chest.
So-
I will run full speed out of the
So
audience
wrong.
and kick him dead in the chest. Double leg kick.
So wrong.
Kung Lao.
So wrong.
I mean Liu Kang.
I honestly thought Joey was going to be the asshole when they got to this reunion, but he actually is not. So
No.
it's very interesting.
As soon as if you didn't see when it first started, when
Uh-huh.
everybody came in, Brian came in. He thought, I'm going to expose Ingrid for who she is and what she is. I'm like, yeah, I already don't like
Being
your
a beautiful single mother. Okay.
And then when it was talking like, you see anybody? He goes, yes.
Oh,
See
that's why you said that.
And then she goes,
And they're like,
Ingrid-
"Are you seeing anybody, Ingrid?" And Ingrid goes, "Yeah."
yeah. He's like,
Goes, "Of course she is. She's evil." So anyway,
yeah. Just to touch him and Ingrid right quick. He's going to say that she used him to do all this stuff when in
he for sure threw it at her. I'm not.
with
She didn't ask for any of this.
when in reality, the first night he's trying to get her to put his catheter in.
The first night. The first night. This is the first time we're seeing each other face to face. Period. We haven't even really fully kissed each other yet. You want me to do what?
Okay,
Get away from me.
that's where we start.
Get away from me.
Then every time she
Hard fast forward.
starts to get close, she finds out more things about him.
She had no idea.
Not because he told her,
Right.
because it's in the
Other people
flow
are
of
bringing it up.
conversation.
Yes.
It's in the flow of conversation
Other
with
people
other
bringing it
people.
up.
Like she didn't know he was married like 4 or 5 times.
Oh yeah.
She only thought he was married once or twice.
Once.
Once.
And he made it sound like he married once and the lady was crazy. And then it turns out now he's repeatedly come to Brazil specifically and married somebody.
She didn't
And
know
ended terribly.
that the reason he's in a wheelchair is because he tried to steal drugs from his ex. Oh, do something on his ex turf.
Steal her turf. That's what he was trying to do.
And she had his back blown out.
I don't know if that was the intention. I think she was. I don't know if she was trying to scare him, and he and his quote unquote ego is what let it down that
now
way.
that I think about it, I don't think she even had nothing to do with it. I think he was getting carjacked and he tried to lunge at the person jacking his car.
I agree.
And got shot.
I think he was high as hell and
And
was like,
try to blame it on her, saying my ex had something.
It's got to be this, right?
Mm.
It's definitely this. It couldn't be just because I was crazy at a carjacking.
So, yeah, I fucking hate this guy.
Unreliable narrator, that guy.
Yeah, so he's trying to make it seem like Matilda's trying to get there, and I'm like,
Get one over on Niles.
It's-
I was like,
she,
no.
if she wanted to be in the States, she could have been in the States.
She didn't have to go through Niles to do this.
Exactly. So I'm like, and if you watch the show, she has the patience
Of a saint.
of an elephant.
Oh my gosh. A saint. Niles lied a lot. A lot. Made her look like Boo Boo the Fool more
I
than
wouldn't
once.
say he left out details.
That's a lie still. Lie of omission is a lie.
So they asked him, he gonna ask him Mr. Ark for the money, and he goes, I guess he said no. And I'm like, I think Matilda's already doing things for Mr. Ark right now that she's regretting because he paid for the wedding. So I don't think they want to go down that road. And that's pretty much 90 day before 90 day.
They did ask Joey why he kept calling Magna.
And because he said everybody there calls her
Maja.
Maja. So, and he's still an idiot, so it don't even matter.
He's dumb.
And that's pretty much 90 days before 90 days.
Yes.
Tell all part 1.
Yes.
And then we're going to move to 90 Day Beyonce Last Resort Season 2 episode. Who cares? This episode, who cares?
The latest one. That's all that matters. Biggest takeaway for me was the Jasmine and Gino storyline. The more that I'm seeing of the Jasmine Gino storyline, don't get me wrong, Jasmine is her own bottle of chaos. She will readily admit she's her own bottle of chaos. But Gino is just being cruel at this point. Like the edits are, at least the way it's edited right now and they're showing us, he is beyond cruel right now. It's to the point where I'm like, if Jasmine stepped out on him, she stepped out on him. Like he is being so cruel.
I know why he goes overseas to get women. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
No American woman, no rational woman will put up with this.
It was, to me, it felt very retaliatory. It felt like he was trying to teach her something. No, I'm not doing this because no, you don't deserve it.
We don't have a foundation. We have to be friends again. We need to build.
Why the hell would we be friends again? We're married. We're married. What are you
Truth be
talking
told,
about?
I'm not friends with my wife, and it works. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
That's a lie.
I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
But also, like, sir, if you're not, it sounds like you just want a companion. Like you just want somebody to hang out with. You're not into the physical whatsoever. And that's fine. But Jasmine is into the physical. So if that's the situation, break up. Let her go. I don't understand why you're also maintaining that you need to save your marriage. It's quite clear you don't want to. So why won't you just let her go? I don't understand.
Then we get Josh and Natalie. Pretty much all chaos breaks loose when they try to do their little side sex session that they missed.
Sex therapy,
Sex
by the way,
therapy.
not sex session. Sex therapy session.
So it starts off kind of cool, but Josh doesn't want to do it because he doesn't like PDA.
Which is weird.
Fast forward, he does it. Whatever.
No, he has to do it in the dark of the night.
The dark of the night. The therapist
The
leaves.
therapist has to leave.
He does something, and
And even when he does it, it has to be super quick and super fast. And even after Natalie does her part of it, he immediately jets off to the bathroom. Immediately.
So a therapist comes back, and they're talking.
And then Natalie gets mad at this
And
therapist.
this when it goes downhill.
It's been going downhill, though. Natalie was already upset that Josh didn't want to do the activity as it was.
But it seemed like she blamed the therapist.
She does. She does pivot and blame the therapist after a while.
So what did he start talking
But
about?
she blames the therapist when the therapist points out that Natalie's not being the most conducive in their discussion around Josh's feelings. She gets real pissed real fast. At first it was, we're talking about intimacy. The session is about intimacy and what that means between the two of you. And then Natalie's like, yeah, what is intimacy between the two of us? what are we, Josh? And that turns into a conversation of like, where is their relationship headed right now? And she shares that they broke it up like 3 times because she can never get an answer. And then the therapist is just sitting there like, oh, okay, well, all right, okay, we're talking about intimacy. And then they get up more into the intimacy part of it. And Josh is like, we don't need this therapy. We're fine. Our sex life is fine. But then it's Natalie being like, well, I want us to be more affectionate, like, outside and whatnot. And he's like, I'm just not into PDA, period. And it's the therapist trying to like find out exactly where Josh is in terms of comfortability around PDA, but she can't get that far. They do their experiment with the body paint. The therapist comes back in and they start discussing like Josh's concerns around why he's not comfortable being intimate with Natalie, like at least in terms of like public displays of affection. And when he puts out his own emotions around how quick Natalie kind of turns and like lashes out and whatever, even though I thought it was an avoidant take, the therapist, takes what he says seriously. And when Natalie cuts in, basically to dismiss all of that and say that Josh is just not doing it correctly, the therapist points out just because he's vocalizing a point that you don't necessarily agree with, it doesn't mean it's an attack on you, Natalie. With our partners, we should still create a space where they can say what they need to say and we can say what we need to say. And even if we don't agree, we both, still value what each person has said. And Natalie, like, session over. You're the sex therapist. You're not our psychologist. Get out. She all but pushes this woman out the room.
Get your dark ass out of my goddamn room.
She slams the door on this lady. It was wild.
And Josh just goes, oh, well, okay, that just got dark in there for some reason. It just got real dark in there.
Josh goes back and forth, though. He goes from being like, Natalie is the victim. People just pick on her because they don't understand her, to then saying, oh, no, she lashes out all the time. She does this, she does that. Like, which one is it?
He's talking about to him. He's not talking. He can care less about the other people.
No, he talked about how, like, Natalie being around other women, she always acts this way. The way that she was with that therapist, the way she is with the girls now, she's like this always with other women. He said that several times. But then he'll change his mind and be like, well, they're bullying her. And it's like, which one is it?
So my thing is, I think she is stunted to where whatever that traumatic experience was, she's stunted there.
Mm-hmm.
So the bullying on top of, I guess the bully's killing her dog in front of her or something crazy like that, she said happened to her.
The bullies didn't kill her dog.
Yeah. Somebody.
No, family members killed her dog, not bullies.
So first traumatic thing she had, her family members took her to a butcher shop and like butchered her dog or something crazy in front of her.
They didn't take her to a butcher shop. They just butchered her dog.
In front of her or something crazy.
But it also makes me wonder, how true is that statement?
Cut
makes
to,
me wonder, is that a real story?
Cut to, she was bullied repeatedly by pretty girls.
Again, also though, how true is this story? Bless you.
I'm not going to dismiss stories that people tell that I don't know if it's true or not, because we don't know.
I'm not saying dismiss. I'm saying, should it hold as much water as you're giving it? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying dismiss.
Evidently, she can't move on. I'm all about, at some point, move the fuck on.
Move on, what do you mean?
Get over it.
Or what happened to her is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's what's happening. What happened to her is what's stunning her.
I think she keeps going back to that, and that's when she starts lashing out, because she's created that as a defense mechanism. So she lashes out, and then she doesn't want to hear anything, and she's like, whatever. And now she has to be the mean girl.
The only reason I take pause on that is that she also painted Josh a certain way. When we first got introduced to the Josh storyline, she really painted this dude out to be like somebody who was manipulating it and using her just for her body. Like, that's how she painted it. We're now, 3 years in to this, and she's still with this dude. And the more we see of Josh, there are some manipulation tactics happening, but also it's like this crazy toxic back and forth between the both of them. Like, there's still some accountability on her end. So it makes me wonder, these other stories she's sharing about how she got to where she is, or how she's navigating the way that she is. I feel like she definitely felt wronged. She probably definitely felt bullied, but I also it gives me spoiled princess. It gives me like, I used to always get my way, and when I don't get my way, this is how I'm going to act out. The therapist even says she has issues regulating her emotions, like sitting with and recognizing, oh, this is triggering me or this is making me mad. Why am I mad? Where is this? Kind of like having issues doing that.
And I think it's because all the stuff she's been through.
I think that's part of it.
And I think she has always been the victim.
I
and
think
when
she
somebody-
sees herself as the victim.
When somebody says, I don't think you're the victim this time, I think you're the reason for it.
The only reason I
She-
disagree with this take is that you also think that Natalie's being bullied by these women. And I disagree.
I do think sometimes, I'm not saying in every case, sometimes they are picking on her.
The re-
Now, majority of the time, she's creating that atmosphere without even knowing she is.
No, she knows she is.
She's creating that atmosphere.
So the reason I say that is because you also haven't seen the full season. So you are basing a lot of this on what you've already seen.
So,
And if you had watched the beginning of this, the energy she had for that therapist when she kicked that lady out, that's the energy she came in meeting the girls.
and I'm saying to you, I think it's because she was bullied by a group of girls.
But what I'm saying is
She
to
doesn't
then
know how
say
to-
that she's now also being victimized by these ladies where she set the precedent to have them react to her the way that they are, that blows my mind.
I think she does that as a defense mechanism.
You can do it as a
because-
defense mechanism, but you also still did it. You also still laid the groundwork and the foundation for all of this stuff that's happening as well.
I'm not saying she's innocent. I'm just saying
and then you
I
gave
think a lot of stuff.
half-ass apology.
I think a lot of stuff is just a defense mechanism. So
But to me, when somebody says it's my defense mechanism, it's almost like it's supposed to be a Band-Aid for all of the bad behavior.
no, I'm not dismissing the bad behavior. I'm just saying I can it makes sense. I think she's stunted because she acts like a spoiled brat. She does, like a child. I think she's stunted. Wherever this tragedy happened, she hasn't gotten over that. I don't know why, for whatever reason, she hasn't. And then she picks dudes that puts her in that same position to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
And then she has to fight. I think she likes fighting
I don't. So
to a certain extent.
Josh and who was the guy she was with before?
I don't know. Mike,
Mike. They're not the same though. You know what I mean?
they're totally different. They're really not that much different.
I feel like Mike was opposite in Josh and like wanting to claim her. He really wanted to claim Natalie. She's my wife. We're gonna move here.
That's
We're gonna
the-
do that.
That's the only difference.
But that's a big difference. Josh doesn't do any of that. And he's very concerned about what it looks like.
Seems to me she went from one side of the spectrum to the other.
Yes. Yes. So I don't know
That's
that
all
she's
that-
necessarily choosing the same guy over and
That's-
over again.
And
I do think she looks for what benefits she can have first and then deals with everything else later.
yes.
I do think that.
So it just went left real fast. And pretty much Natalie walks out after she kicks out the therapist.
The black lady, oh yeah.
And that was pretty much it for her and Josh.
Previews
The-
for next week. Josh has left again.
They had Florian and
Florian,
Florian and
Stacy.
Stacy really didn't have anything. Rob and
Sophie.
Sophie touched on them a little bit, but really nothing. It's pretty much them going to get something to eat and everybody going to a bar
In the middle of
And-
nowhere.
in the middle of nowhere. And then you got Gino
Do
and
you have a
Florian
Manhattan?
asking for these fancy cocktails. I'm like, dude, you're in a bar with nothing but death around you.
You just saw Rob
license
order
plates.
tequila and pineapple juice separately. Like you,
I'm like,
you gotta work with what you got,
dude,
man.
they got beer, Jack, and Coke, and the cheapest real vodkas and whiskeys you can
I
get.
don't think they got vodkas. That place looked like a brown whiskey only place.
Yes, they got everybody had like 8 vodka on tap. It might not be good vodka, but they got 8 vodka on
It
tap.
looked like a brown liquor only place.
So then you get Benny and Ari.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start with what's her face, and
What? We're not going to do that couple?
we'll come back to them.
Oh, Julia and Brandon.
Julie and Brandon at this couples session.
Yeah.
It comes out they're talking about I think he brings up wanting kids or something.
Well, first he was rehashing like how well they worked as a team for their little boat exercise, the kayak exercise. Like, and it really gave him hope about like being able to work through anything, including him wanting a kid. He circles back to really wanting a child and Julia being resistant to that. And then it comes out Julia has this really big breaking point where she shares with the entire group that she can't have kids. She has had some medical issues in her past. Medical stuff in America is insanely expensive. So when she went back home, she ended up going to see doctors in Russia to check out what her fertility situation would be. And they told her the chances of her having a pregnancy would be really, really slim.
So she breaks down, and I think they finally tried to hash out why she feels that way. I guess, what's his name? Brandon?
Brandon said that it was a make or break for him
For
to
him.
have kids.
So
He really wanted to have kids. He wanted her to get a second opinion once she was back in America.
but she's too afraid to get the second opinion because she thinks if it comes back negative,
He's gonna
gonna
leave. Yeah.
So finally, he's starting to understand he has to reinforce the fact that he's not going to leave.
He has to validate her feelings. That's what he has to do.
Thank you. Validate her feelings and make her feel assured that nothing's going to change.
Mm-hmm.
And that there's other avenues of making a family.
I don't think it's that nothing will change, but that he will always support her. That he will always be in her corner.
Sure.
Because it didn't feel like that for a while for her.
Then you have so then Benny, during that time, Benny and Ari gives Benny back his passwords.
She made it a whole show though. I'm not
She made it a whole show.
gonna lie.
Gives him back his passwords. Benny's like, yes.
I half expected Benny to fold that paper up and then peace out.
That's what he should have done.
He should have done it.
But no, Benny is happy. So now Benny's going to try to work on the relationship.
Yeah, he's
so
like,
now
okay.
Benny is showing affection. But
she's still not happy.
You would think he was, you whisper in the air, you know I'm leaving. As soon as I get out
Choke holding her. Don't you ask for me anything else. Don't ask for nothing else.
Don't ask for nothing else. It's over.
She's leaning on him. She looks pissed. She's laying in his lap and she's like, don't embarrass me at the bar. You need to pay attention to me. You need to make this night about me. And it's Benny being like, we're literally in a group. We're in a group of people. He starts waving to the other bus across the way.
2 dusty rolled elbows to the forehead.
He does it does look like because he's trying to raise the roof and it looks like he's bumping into her face.
He should have just elbowed her and be like, oh, let me go get you a napkin, and then never came back with that napkin.
She takes it as him being dismissive. I just thought it was him being over excited to say hi to the guys.
I think was in a happy place now.
I
He's
agree.
like, we can now work on our relationship.
I agree.
And she killed it immediately.
Oh, they have this moment at the bar where she's like, all right, it's time to have a real conversation. I want to talk about what happened before and how it affected me. I'm thinking it's what happened right before he left America. No, we're going back 5 years to when they first started dating. The story that unfolded.
Seems like to me with Benny. Here's what my take. Benny gets in relationships with females, right?
Mhm.
And then he
messes with other
females. Yeah. And it seems like the female that he messes with gets pregnant.
Right? So then he's like, oh, I got to be serious with that one.
So now he decides, okay, he calls it off with the other girl and be with the pregnant one.
Yes. And that's how he's been moving. Yeah.
And that's how he's been moving. Fast forward,
so that means we found out Ariella was the other girl. Benny was in a relationship with somebody.
Yes.
Then he started messing with Ari. Ari got pregnant. So he then had to break things off with the original girlfriend.
After his first baby mama leaves him, he gets with somebody else. He's with that person. Then I guess he meets Ari.
Yes. They start messing around. Ari falls pregnant.
She knows she's the other woman. She gets pregnant at some point, and I guess he's like, I'm going to be with you. And I guess in him saying that, he gets with the other person, and he, unlike most dudes doing it over text, I guess he does it face to face. And she took it as him cheating.
Well, not the talking part. She says that she got video from the girl of her being in the house with Benny and being in their bed.
Which means absolutely she could have just took a photo with her in the bed. And
I feel like the context should be, so the ex that he was cheating on with you
Yeah.
Sent you a petty picture? Shocked.
Yes. And I think that's
Shocker.
that's exactly
What?
that's exactly what
She
I
was
think.
mean to you? No way.
That's exactly what I think it was.
Like,
The
what?
ex sent a petty picture
No way, girl. That's
to
crazy.
you.
But Benny does agree that he messed up in the past. He does say that, which to me, my perspective was Benny does have a habit of getting into these relationships and then moving on without telling the other person, then the other person getting pregnant and then having to break it up. I think in the Ari situation, Ari got pregnant. Ari was like, "You're choosing me and this baby, right?" And he was like, "Yes, I'm choosing you and the baby." And then he went to end things with the original girlfriend. I do think he slept with the original girlfriend as a goodbye. I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up sleeping together. And that was his way to like kind of make up for hurting her feelings
I'm not going
and
to
breaking up with her.
I'm not going to say he slept with her because we still don't know.
He said I messed up, so he did something.
I think the messed up part is he went there. They talked.
I don't think that. I think if it was just the talking, I think he would have thrown that in her face.
I think we don't know because every time he gets ready to say something or talk about it to get to that point, she cuts him off.
We do know. Remember when she was in Ethiopia with him, and she was mad at his partner? Do you remember? He has a dance partner.
Yeah,
that's the ex. That's the girl he was with before Ari. That's the one who sent her the video. All that happened during their season.
So
I think he slept with her. But to me, again, my perspective, it could be flawed. My perspective is all he did was sleep with his girl. All he did was sleep with his girlfriends.
And
he chose Ari like she wanted him to.
Okay. And my whole thing in any of the scenario, he wasn't wrong. Really.
No, he was still he was wrong, but she was wrong. So like I don't.
It was two wrongs.
It was.
But he was wrong to the girlfriend, not her.
Exactly. I feel like it does feel like she was expecting all this fidelity for somebody that she was being the other woman for.
So fast forward now, it's her guilt playing on her.
Well, she said I had to talk about the old situation because if I talk about the new situation, he gets really mad and he just shuts down. And I'm like, what's the new situation? What's the new one?
I think she cheated.
No, she said it's him again. She said it's him again.
Why would he shut down? It's him. I think it was her.
I can see him shutting down because she doesn't take anything he says. If he gives her an answer, she's like, no, but for real.
That too. But I think because didn't someone say she was doing something? Yeah, and I think in that she went back. She did something with somebody with one of her
best
friends.
Friend.
Yeah, I think she did something too. Yeah. So I think it's two people. At the end of the day, I think she because the sisters were getting on her about something. His sisters.
No, they were getting on her because she was talking shit about them. Remember?
Not only that, they had it. They knew she did something.
She was gonna steal the baby. She was gonna take the baby to America.
But
they had some qualms about her best friend, her being so close to this guy. But what really set them off was her threatening to take the child and just leave, because that's what the first baby mama did.
But to me, at the end of it all, I think she wants to, like you said, she wants to
stay a victim.
Stay a victim.
I agree.
Because as soon as he was happy and was like, let's work on it,
she got mad.
She was upset.
She got mad.
She was happier when he wasn't talking to her.
When he was miserable and avoiding her, she was like, yeah.
She was happy.
But then when he was like, all right, let's work for it. Let's work on our marriage. She was like, okay, but you have to grovel and apologize for how you made me feel. And he's like, why? So, for me, my perspective on the whole Ari Benny thing, I do think Benny stepped out, but I feel like Ari didn't make it easy for him to stay faithful. I'm not saying that means he's good to go with doing whatever he wants to do, but I also feel like Benny I feel like Benny acknowledged his failings and wants to move forward. And she's like, no, we have to keep reminding you of the failings. We're not moving past reminding you failings. We're not going to move forward.
Yes. I don't think he cheated. I think she left him and they broke up. And guys don't do breaks. we do breaks with we do breaks.
She did
with other
leave
women.
him, but they weren't on a break. She just wasn't talking to him, which I feel like is the same.
It's the same thing. If
I
you're
do.
not talking
I
to
agree
me,
with you.
we're not
I
together.
think that's another break.
So I think.
But I mean, again, though, I also feel like it was a test. She was testing him to see if he was.
Don't test
He
me.
was gonna do something.
Don't test me.
My thing is, if you got him like that, why would you think?
Well, don't test me.
Why would you think you'd be different? Anyway, but yeah.
Because guess what? People hate tests, and 9 times out of 10 people fail tests.
But my other thing though is, why are you torturing yourself?
Because
Why?
that's what she likes. If
if he can never do anything right,
some people like the
and
pain.
he's never gonna meet you where you want him to meet you at, why?
Some people like the pain because it's normal to them.
I'm just confused. You could keep it friendly. You don't have to stay in a romantic relationship. He's gonna be in your life regardless because you both have the kid together.
But also,
Just
I don't
keep it
want to be
friendly.
alone, and I want you to be just as miserable as me.
I guess so. I guess so.
It's a lot of diabolical mind games going on.
She does make it hard to root for her, at least in the show.
She looks like one of the Whoville people.
Mm-hmm. Cindy Lou Who.
Yeah, she's like Cindy Lou Who.
Cindy Lou Who's actually cute.
In the movie, I guess, not in the book. She looked like the book.
You said the original Dr. Seuss.
The original Dr. Seuss. And that's pretty much everybody from. Oh, touch on Gino and
Jasmine.
Jasmine. Pretty much is Jasmine half naked.
No, she's in a bathing suit.
Half naked, trying to get Gino to just to touch her and kiss her, and Gino going, no.
He won't cuddle.
No.
He won't kiss her.
No.
Don't tickle me. Don't touch me.
I'm working on me right now. We have to start at the ground level.
But he also says you have to earn it, and you didn't earn it. And I was like, what do you mean? What are you talking about right now? What is this? It was cruel. It was cruel. Another couple, I'm like, why are y'all still together?
Well, at least she knows how men feel when they got to beg for it.
I have many questions about this because, like we said before, Gino not meeting her physical needs is not new. He's had They've had issues with that before, where he was like, I don't want to, and she was like, but I really want you to, and he was like, nah.
If she wants her passports back, just go sleep with somebody and let him see it, and put it on Pornhub or something. Let somebody see it. She'll get her stuff back.
It is one way to get her back. That is true. That is true. But I can see her point of like, if we're gonna save this marriage, we'd have to open it. We'd have to open it to save the marriage. I see her point in that. It does crack me up that for Florian, she's saying, screw Gino. I just want to sleep with whoever I want to sleep with. Like, that's not the case. That's not the case at all. It's very interesting.
So you would do that?
No, I would be out. Well, it's complicated. I would want to be out. I wouldn't want to. The open relationship thing, not for me. That's too much. I would want it to be. I would want to be done. I wouldn't be at this resort. I'd be like, how do we move forward with legal action? How do we end this?
I don't know what none of your paperwork is.
Right. Right.
I don't know.
You can't leave.
You can't. I don't know what none of your documentation is.
That's what he literally told her. Like, you can't leave yet. And it's like, what do you mean? Ugh. Are you watching any other shows?
I think he doesn't want to leave because he wants to torture her.
He keeps saying we just have to start over. And it's like, what?
All she got to do is let him throw that hat to the window, and he goes to the window, just double kick him out the window.
Double kick him.
Yeah.
Donkey kick.
Charlie Murphy, Rick James kick him in the chest right out the window.
It's just so weird. I don't understand what he wants. Anyway. So yeah, what are you watching any other shows?
I've never begged. I'd just be like, well, I'll just go find somebody. I'm not begging. You only got to tell me no once.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wrap. I ain't begging.
I'm going to say it one more time. What other shows are you watching?
Of course I'm not watching anything, but I keep rambling on about the show. Of course I'm not watching anything else.
Well, I came across something on Instagram. We could have watched that Tubi movie. That's a reenactment of the Jonathan Majors story.
No, thank you.
They called him Nathan Minor. That's the character's name.
That's crazy.
And it's him running, going, why are you so... They have that girl walking like she's a Terminator. It was hilarious. It was so funny. Why are you so fast? Aren't you tired? It was hilarious. We could have watched that. That could have been another show you watched. You said no. I finished Love is Blind Germany. Just the reunion is left. That's supposedly airing tomorrow sometime. So tomorrow for us is Sunday. It ended with only one couple getting married. Everybody else said no or broke up. It again, very frank discussions. Very frank discussions of like why this can't happen or why I'm not doing this. Like very logistical, very literal, but also made me wonder why did you do this in the first place? One couple in particular, Hani and Daniel. Daniel is like all in on this girl. Like he was going to say yes at the altar. He loved her. She was hesitant the entire time, and she dragged that out all the way to the wedding day for whatever reason and blindsides him by saying no. And I was like, "Girl, you weren't invested this entire time. Why didn't you just say no before?" And it was so crazy. But good. But good.
Okay. Anything else you're watching?
I'm excited for wrestling next weekend. And I got to catch up on wrestling tonight, actually.
Oh, God.
Oh, there's some gossip happening. Allegedly. You know who Jey Uso is, right?
Sure.
One of the twins. Allegedly. There's a video going around on the internet that he is sitting next to a wrestler from NXT. This like Puerto Rican girl. All the video shows, because it's in the back. It's like the main people in the front, and then like in the far back, you see two people sitting in like an alcove. All you can see is their knees and their hands. And you see a girl dressed up like one of the NXT wrestlers. Her hand wanders over to this guy's leg and like taps his knee, and then the hand rises up like closer, higher on his thigh, and she starts rubbing the inside of his thigh. That's all you see. And everybody was like, "Oh, that's Jey Uso and that girl from NXT." And I'm like, "Is it? How can you tell?" So it went wild. It went viral, and everybody's like, Jey Uso stepping out on his wife. Jey Uso, mind you, married his high school sweetheart. He's been with this woman forever.
So it's time to leave.
I guess if it's true, you can't see them is the other thing. All you can see is knees and hands. So yeah, that's been blowing up like wildfire with people going after Jey Uso for cheating on his wife. And it's like, did he? Did it happen? Who knows?
Well, you know, if you have another woman leg or knee in your picture, you're cheated. So
Well, other people are like, that's all that shows is that they know each other. And I'm like, I don't know too many people that do that to each other. That explanation also doesn't make sense to me. So we'll see. But that's it. That's all I got. Thank you for listening to We Like That podcast.
we like that.
Go ahead and click that subscribe button. You know you want to. And rate us 5 stars. I'm Javon.
I'm Calvin.
Later, people.
And we're out.